So there's a global theme. So every month, every chapter in the whole world goes with a particular theme. And this month's theme was supposed to be robot, in case you were sort of following in the very beginning of the month. So every other chapter in the world is going with robot, and we were like, that doesn't really feel appropriate this month, what with everything going on. And it just so happened that June was revolution. And so that made sense, right? So I didn't ask, I just sort of was like, we're just gonna do this, switch it up. I might get in trouble for that, but I think maybe not. But it made sense to me for a lot of reasons, because I think that, you know, part of our goal with this event is to stay relevant to our community, provide a space for artists who are doing interesting work now, and to really talk about what's going on in the community at the time. And so with everything that's been happening, both the really, really hard stuff and the really, really good stuff, it made sense to shift gears a bit. And we're especially grateful to Devin for our speaker today, in case you have been living under a rock. Yeah, I like that. We're really grateful for him for kind of coming on board at the very last minute. So, okay, so Q&A. We're doing this really differently this time. So for the sake of time and other things, we're not going to walk around with a mic. So if you have questions, if a question occurs to you during this talk, write it down on Twitter, not on Instagram. Please use Twitter, and and use the hashtag #QuestionsForDevin. And we have some people that are monitoring that, and then that's how we're going to do Q&A. We'll still call you out, and you can stand up and be like, I asked a question. If you want to dance like an idiot, you can do that too. But that's how we're going to do Q&A. So we're going to try this out. It's a little bit different, but I think it's going to work. I think it'll be really fun, and it'll be more efficient than me trying to sprint back and forth in this theater with a mic. Cool? Questions for Devin. Okay. Yes would be helpful, guys. Yeah, awesome. All right. So Devin Allen. He kind of got thrust into the spotlight through all this. Again, for those of you who don't know what's going on today, Devin is a 26-year-old photographer who grew up in West Baltimore, and he's been photographing since 2013. Totally self-taught. A lot of people ask, "Oh, where did you get your formal training?" There was none, which is just astounding to me as you look through his work. Completely self-taught. And as you look through his feed, he, in the past, has sort of focused on street photography, fashion, and you can sort of see this whole thing evolve. His photos are incredibly, incredibly evocative, which I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. And then things kind of blew up when, a couple weeks ago, one of his shots from the protest was slapped on the cover of Time. And so he's been in the national spotlight for a couple weeks now, and so I feel especially honored that he's here to talk about what it was like to be in the middle of those days, to talk about his art in general, and to talk about where the city is. And I think he has an incredibly interesting perspective on our community right now, where it's been, where it is, where it can go, where it may go. So I'm really thrilled to talk with him today. We're going to do this interview style, so this is going to be like Donahue or Ricky Lake or something. She did wear a lot of blazers, didn't she? So, with no further ado, may I have a round of applause for Mr. Devin Allen. Really quick, so Devin and I were styled by you can stand up and we'll give a little thing.
I was actually in an accident yesterday, so I smell like an old man. I have a lot of Bengay on, so I didn't want to mess y'all pants up, so I just wore the shirt. I ain't want to give it back smelling like an old man, so.
But For Rent Shoes, as you may know, almost every shoe store in the city was affected during the riots, including For Rent Shoes, which is just down the street. And, you know, if you're wondering today, like, if you leave this talk thinking, what can I do for the city today? Well, you can go buy some shoes. Yeah. So they were kind enough to dress us up a little bit, and which was great. It made my morning so much faster because I didn't have to think about what to wear. So thanks, guys. All right. So I'm going to flip through slides and ask some questions, and then, again, you guys tweet out your stuff. It's so quiet. It's great. So let's start off. Can you talk a little bit about how you got into photography, how you learned, what your process was?
Basically, my daughter inspired me to want to be larger than life. You know, I wanted to leave something, a foundation that she can carry on when I'm gone. So I was working for Transamerica, and I was doing poetry at the time. I had my own poetry night. I did that for a while, but I sucked. I would like get on stage and forget my words, scroll through my iPhone, and you know, my friend's like, yo, you gotta get rid of that iPhone. I said, no. So what I started, I was like, well, I'll just make some t-shirts then. And I had a young lady take pictures for me and put them on the t-shirts, but I'm real anxious. I want my stuff now, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's my stuff and I want it now, like the commercial. So basically, I got myself like this little like $300 camera, you know, and I used my friend camera to take pictures and put them on t-shirts. Like they sold, like the process was just like a lot. So I was like, wow, I really like taking pictures, you know, and I started like having fun with it. And then I never really knew how much they cost. So like I went to like Best Buy and I was like, oh, all right then. I'm gonna have to save up a little bit. So I actually, you know, I'm a mama's boy, grandmama's boy. Hey, grandma, can I use your credit card? I used her Best Buy credit card and then just paid it off, $100 a month, and got my first camera. And then I've been doing it ever since.
So what was when you think about how you learned, what were your resources?
YouTube and trial and error.
Yeah.
And I wasted a lot of money. If I knew some of the stuff I know now, I could have skipped a lot of steps. But, you know, you live and you learn.
Yeah. I just want to talk about some of the aesthetics of your work. So you shoot, especially since the protests, you've shot almost exclusively in black and white. Can you talk about that choice?
You know, I love Gordon Parks, but I feel like when a picture in black and white is pretty much straightforward. When you got a lot of colors and stuff, a person examines the picture a little bit deeper, I feel. Well, that's for me. So I thought if I do them in black and white, it's a straightforward. You won't worry about all the pretty colors. You'll see all the raw emotion of what's going on at that time.
Yeah. And then this image appears a lot, and it's even in your profile shot. And then when you go back through your feed, which essentially is your portfolio, this image shows up a lot of your own hand.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that that choice?
I want people to understand, like, I'm not just out there, you know, just taking pictures, trying to get the best shot. I'm actually protesting for something that I believe in at the same time. You know, I'm at every protest on the front lines, not just capturing the image, but also protesting, you know, making sure I'm helping that energy of that protest, you know, reach its peak. Mm-hmm. So I'm on both sides, I guess.
Yeah, you're engaged. By the way, that's totally awesome. Like, give it up. You know. Kind of going back to some of your past work, you focused a lot. I'm going to scroll back. Actually, you focused a lot on women.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that choice and why that's been a focus?
One, I was raised by a strong black woman, so I feel as though I focused on women because, you know, women are often overlooked for how powerful and how naturally strong they are. So I try to empower women, you know, because I feel as though they are the foundation of a lot that we don't give them credit for. You know, they're the first teacher to the child. So, you know, if you empower women, they can raise better kids, you know, and that's what my art was focused on at that point in time, just empowering.
Yeah. If you guys haven't gotten this month's time, there's a centerfold of this shot in there as well.
They actually switched it because I didn't notice the kid was actually giving them the finger. Oh. You can see I didn't notice it until they blew it up. So I sent him a similar shot. So it's a little. He put his hand down. So I captured that.
So this is the one I wanted to get to.
Okay.
So this was actually from 40 weeks ago. This
Yeah.
is from the Free Gaza protest.
Yes.
And one thing I noticed as I sort of looked at your whole feed was that you posted images from this protest, and you said that it was eye-opening and life-changing. And then you can kind of see the work shift a little bit, and all of a sudden there's more shots of the police. You start to incorporate more black and white. And then once the Ferguson protest started, you sort of started focusing on that, and then really a big shift. In the last couple weeks, you said, I'm going to dedicate this whole page to Freddie Gray. Can you talk about this day and how that changed things for you?
That just was I know it was a tragic time, but it was just beautiful to see all the different people from so many different ethnic backgrounds come together. That doesn't affect us here, but we still march for it. And that kind of opened my eyes to how big the world is and how we avoid and are blind to a lot of the pain that goes on around the world. And when I took those pictures kind of went viral too, but just in a different community, because it touched different people. And that's when I knew that I actually had a voice, and my art can actually move people and inspire people. So that day is what kind of opened my eyes to how powerful my art really could be. So, and that kind of changed my view on the world also.
Yeah. I want to talk about this shot. So when we first talked, the first question I asked Devin when we met was, what do you want to talk to about people? And your response was that you had a real problem with the thug language.
Yeah.
And this is the image that he chose when we talked about that. Talk to me about why you find the thug language problematic, and just sort of your thoughts around that.
Because it's not the way they said it, how they directed it to the riders. These guys, this is on Pennsylvania Avenue. These guys are always there. That's where they live. And you call them thugs without really understanding their situation. I don't know if anyone has actually here walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, the living conditions. So instead of calling these guys thugs, look at how they're growing up. It's tough down there. I don't even hang down there, but I have friends down there, and it's tough, and to call these misunderstood young men thugs when in fact they're strong men. Their views and how they handle their emotion is different from other people. So instead of calling them thugs and actually putting more fuel in the fire, try to understand them. I call them these guys the forgotten ones, because nobody cared or knew about them until the riots broke out. Mm-hmm. So this picture is just powerful because I'm not even from that neighborhood, but I walked down the avenue. They was like, come on, let's take some pictures. And I was actually with one of my good friends, and I know a couple of those guys. I have friends down there. So we took some pictures, and I talked to them. We chilled out for a minute. And their views should be heard. They have a very distinct view. The situation of them being called thugs or looked at as thugs, they didn't ask to be put in that situation. You got some of their mothers are drug addicts. Some of them raised themselves. So their mentality is a little bit different from other people from different communities, and that's what I want the mayor to understand. It's pretty raw and rough down there.
How do you think social media has changed that in terms of people's access to getting their voice out there?
Basically, a lot of people talk about my pictures compared to the riots in the 60s. And the difference between now, we have social media. So people who didn't have a voice back then, their kids have voices now. So with social media...
As long as we have people like you that are putting it out there.
not even people like me. I want people, everybody is a photographer, and everybody. When it's time to take those selfies, everybody, come on, I gotta get my lighting right, Everybody is a photographer, So I just want to encourage people that social media, it's deeper than just, oh, look at my outfit, I look cute today. Oh, workflow, I'm out. Mall flow. Whatever. It's deeper than that. People really can connect to you through your social media. There's people here that never met me, but when I finally met them today, the energy was real. I really know this person. Mm-hmm. So you might not never meet me in the physical, but I have touched you. And that's what I want people to understand with that social media. Use that. If you believe in something, if you can't be there, tweet it, post it. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, if you don't say nothing, no one will hear you,
Yeah, that's a good quote. So it's interesting. A lot of people have really strong opinions about the police force right now. And when we talked, you expressed a great deal of empathy for them. Can you talk a little bit about just your thoughts around that?
Yeah.
And your shots are really interesting because they're really mixed. They really show the whole, sort of both sides, the whole person. Yeah.
Basically, I had my problem with the police. Everybody has, you know. I just want people to understand that they're still human beings. It's not just a police thing. It's a typical good versus evil, you know. These people come out and risk their life every day, you know. And you gotta remember, they're getting paid next to nothing, you know. And the thing is, a lot of them don't live in the community, so they don't love the community. So their views on the community from the outside looking in instead of being from the inside looking in the inside. So they don't understand the people of our community, so how can they protect them? But at the same time, you know, you gotta understand these people go through stress. You know, you never know. One of these police officers might be going through a divorce and he will bring that pain to work, you know? And I think they need to go through like psych evaluations often. You know, they don't communicate often. Yeah. You know, you never know. It's days that I go through stuff and I hate everybody. Hey, hi, Devin. In my mind, I'm saying F you. I really don't feel like talking to you right now. You know, but it's just because of what I'm going through. But they're still human. But I just was in an accident yesterday. One was an a-hole. The other one was like, are you okay?
You can say asshole, by the way. It's okay.
Oh, he was an asshole. You know, my stepfather tried to explain and he like, I don't want to talk to you. You know, the other guy was like, are you okay? How you feel? You know, you got to take the good with the bad, but you can't just profile all of them as being bad. When I've been harassed by black police more than I have white police growing up. And then people want to ignore the fact that there was 6 cops and 3 of them was black. You know, it's hard, but at the same time, when people understand, just like people complain about people being racist, don't be racist against the police, because one of these guys will save your life. You know, some of them might give you a hard time. They're human. That's what humans do.
So when you think about police, when you think about police brutality, which is a real thing, from your observations, how would you want the system to respond to remedy that?
They need to, first of all, it's not hard to become a police officer in Baltimore City. That's the first thing. They need to go through some serious training, some serious background checks. You know, like I said, the mental state of mind and emotional, even the spiritual, even the physical. There's some cops out here, I'm looking like, you cannot chase me. Who are you going to chase? You know, they need to go through some serious training. You know, and I think funding is a real big part. How you going to want them to protect us, but you're not going to pay them? You want them to risk their lives to protect us, and you're not going to pay them. And then also, they need to live in the community. You know, and stop having these cops go around everywhere. You know, let's say you live in the Mount Vernon area. You should see the same police every day. Every day. All the business owners should be able to say, hey, Dan, someone just bust my windows. They should be there. You know, they should walk the beat. Don't sit in your car like, I walk past police all the time, you just sitting there texting, taking selfies. Like, no, you need to be walking the beat. Speak to these people, because I don't even live in the Mount Vernon area, but that's where I take a lot of my pictures. That's one of my favorite neighborhoods. But people recognize me around here because I walk up and down the street so much, they, hey, how you doing? They don't even know my name. But at the same time, these police officers need to make a connection with the community so you can understand it and understand the people. Yeah. Because it's the police that are on Pennsylvania Avenue are not going to have the same mentality to police in Towson or police in any other Southwest district or anything else. You know, if you got 10 police, you need to have them police the same area constantly. Make them walk the beat. You know, make them live not that far. You know, you had these police people that come from Howard County, Harford County, Annapolis. They come down here, go to work, and then they go home. So they can do all their dirt here, do your dirt here, and then go home, you know?
Yeah. It's a really refreshing take, by the way. Just scroll through some of these. So talk about, that's a cute one. I didn't even see that one yet. So Saturday was really where a lot of your shots come from,
Yes.
where the shot that from the cover of Time came from. Can you talk a little bit about Saturday night and sort of what your experience was like? What was the most memorable moment?
The crazy part, they put a lot of focus on the riot aspect of that Saturday, but they ignored the fact that it was 2,000 people, only 100 people probably partook in that, you know, and it was beautiful. It was all people. It was Baltimore, you know. I'm seeing people from Towson, people I know that go to Morgan. I'm like, wow, you came all the way down here just to march. You know, friends from PG County came. It was beautiful, you know, and it just got a little bit out of hand and was sour because we had a lot of younger guys with us, and basically the protesters got split up because they wanted to go to Camden Yards, and they went down there. It was a lot of stuff thrown, but then some people was having conversations with the police.
There was a lot of stuff. What?
Being thrown. Yeah, some people was throwing stuff. It was mixed emotions, you know, and I was trying to capture every aspect of that. I didn't want to be, even though I'm a protester, but like I said on my page, I'm gonna give you the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. You know, and like some people was mad, like, why are you showing the negative? Aren't you mad when when the news tell one side of the story, not the whole story? So I'm gonna try to tell the whole story, but I want you to see it through my eyes. And so basically, I want people to understand, like, the guys, when we came around Camden Yards, and basically we met the people at the bar, the Orioles fans, and they called us, you know, excuse my French, niggas, monkeys, monkey lovers. They didn't just talk to just the black people. They was talking to anybody that was down. They said F your cause. And me being 26, I know I'm not no monkey. I might look like one because I got a lot of hair on my face, but I don't look like a monkey, you know? So it didn't bother me because I'm mature. I've been through that already. But like the younger guys, like 16.
You're not that old, by the way. You're kind of an old soul.
I did. Yeah. Anyway, I feel old. But like the younger guys, they didn't know how to handle that. So they did lose their cool, you know, and they did rampage, but at the same time, the protesters still protested. And the beautiful thing is I seen protesters not looking at the skin aspect. You know, they just was protecting each other. I have a picture, I don't know if you have it on the slide, the guy was pouring the milk in the other guy's eyes. We was a team, you know, and that's what they did not show at all. But that's the most beautiful part. I know there's a lot of negative, a lot of my pictures, like the one on Times, the guy running from the police. Yeah, but at the same time, as he was running, he ran past the protesters, and the protesters met the police in the middle. So it was beautiful just to see all those different people from different backgrounds, from different places, just march together and protect each other. Like I was taking pictures. My mother called me, like, boy, you on CNN? You better back up. You too close. And I'm like, Ma, I'm good. I wasn't in danger because the protesters were taking my back. I know she told me come home. I know you glad I ain't come home. I don't know where you sitting at. I know you glad I ain't come home now. Yeah. You wanted me to come home. But overall, it just was a beautiful day. Yeah. I told you I was gonna be goofy. I'm goofy.
You weren't lying. Talk about this moment. I mean, I think this is the thing everybody's sort of talking about. It's, you know, I think 20, 30, 40 years from now, this is going to be the thing that changed your career and the thing that changed your perception of time. It was like, that was not a pun intended. It was like before this shot, after this shot. Right. So talk about the story behind this. Where were you? What were you doing? What happened after?
The funny thing is, I wasn't even trying to take this picture. I was actually had my back to them. And I saw him run past. I was actually taking pictures because actually on that same block, they was tearing up the police cars. And one of my friends, not to incriminate him, he's supposed to be watching my back. But he wanted to help deface the police cars. I know he's not here. I'm not going to say his name. But he's supposed to be watching my back. So, and I turned around looking for him, and he was gone. So when I looked, I saw him throw something at the police and take off running. And I actually was focused on the police on purpose. And as soon as he ran in the frame, I just snapped it. And then I was so pressed. I was like, dang, this is a good-ass picture. I got to get this on Twitter. Like right now. So my cameras, I use Fuji. They have Wi-Fi. So me being, you know, you think you're invincible. I dip down, send a picture to my phone, put a nice little caption, and tweet it. You know, and then I look up, the police was like right here, like,
Oh my
move.
gosh.
You know, and I was like, you know, and that's another aspect. He could have ran me over and broke all my stuff, and I would have been pissed off. I would have never made it at the time, but he actually helped me get over the railing after the fact. So that's basically what happened.
Ah, both sides.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Monday? So Monday evening being the evening of the riots, after it was the same day as the funeral. There's sort of a lapse in your feed.
Right.
Talk about that. Like, what were you doing during that time? Where were you?
I want people to understand, like, I'm from Baltimore, you know, so I was actually home. You know, me and my mother was calling my grandmother. She don't live that far from Mondawmin Mall. So we was making sure, she talking about, I'm out, I'm fine. No, you're not. You need to go home. So we was actually watching it on the news and watching them go home. You know, and like, that was real painful because, you know, like, I know that area pretty well. And like, a lot of my friends that in the neighborhood was actually, you know, chasing down protesters. Like one of my friends named G Songs, Gerald, he was actually been marching with me all week, and he's from like the White Lock area. So I was like really calling and checking on a lot of my friends, because at the end of the day, it's like that's when all the photographers came out. You know, they all, oh, it's burning cars. Let me get these shots. You know, they went out there just that one day. You know, and me, I was more so worried about my friends and my peers than taking pictures at that point.
Yeah, which I love that story because I think it grounds you and sort of evidences the lack of opportunistic attitude, I guess.
Yeah.
So what role do you as an artist or someone from the creative community, what role do you want to play in Baltimore, especially after the media is packed up and left?
I just want to keep the pot stirring. You know, I don't want it to settle, you know, because the convictions, we haven't even been to court yet. And, you know, in Ferguson, you saw what they did after they didn't get to hear what they wanted to hear. We reacted way beforehand. You know, we jumped to conclusions like, oh, no, they ain't going to get nothing. Well, we're going to show them now. You know, and basically a lot of people have gone, everything is gone. They just went on about their day. You know, people are still without homes. You know, people are still in jail. And, you know, I feel as though I'm going to follow it all the way through. Like, if anybody can give me a pass to get into the courthouse, talk to me after. I'm trying to get in there and take pictures, all that. I want to follow it all the way through. You know, I canceled all my shoots, stopped everything, you know, and then I just feel as though it's my right to follow it through and keep people informed of what's going on here. And with that, I hope to inspire people in other cities to do the same thing that I did.
Yeah. So, yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, this actually gets videotaped, even though there's no tape involved. And then it gets put online and for the whole world to see.
So I can go watch myself.
Yeah. But I want to ask for that purpose. So, I mean, and some of us, even that live in Baltimore, don't know what it's like in those communities. And people from all over the world don't know. So can you kind of speak to, you grew up close to that neighborhood, what that neighborhood was like, what it's like now, where you see it evolving to?
Basically in Baltimore, we have, everybody think Baltimore, they be like The Wire. Mm-hmm. It's The Wire. It's actually worse than The Wire, like, to be honest. And like growing up, like, I was blessed. You know, I have a wonderful family, so I got to do a lot of things that other kids did not get to do. You know, even like now I'm chasing my dream, but my mother is helping me allow that by helping me with my child. So I'm blessed in certain type of ways. But even though I was blessed, I was infatuated with the streets. My mother would be like, I'm going over my friend's house. I'll be on the block. I'll be outside with my friends. I'm not going to lie. You know, my aunts come riding down the street. Boy, what you doing? How you know people down here? You know, I hung all through the West District. I got friends from East Baltimore to South Baltimore. And basically, you know, like the sad part about Pennsylvania Avenue, it was once such a beautiful neighborhood. You know, like I know Red Fox, Sanford the Son actually got his start there. You know, he had a club on the corner of North Avenue and Penn. You know, Billie Holiday, a lot of big-time artists hung me there. But my city never recovered from the crack epidemic. You know, we still got buildings burnt down from the 60s. You know, a lot of these houses are still vacant, you know, and it's just been completely ignored. So with a lot of people not being able to be jobs, a lot of those areas are heavy in Section 8. So a lot of these kids grow up, they got to basically get it how they live. And a lot of them do sell drugs. You know, I have friends that sold drugs to my other friend's mother. You know, a lot of my friends still sell drugs. I lost my best friends. They were drug dealers. I lost both my best friends back to back. One was killed Friday and the other one was killed Saturday. You know, like my my brother's sitting right there. You know, he's sitting right here. Stand up. Like this is like my right hand man. This is my last best friend. You know, I lost both my best friends to the streets. It's very violent. You know, I was out there. We both was. You know, and I'm just happy that I can make it here. But everybody don't have this opportunity, and with this gift, that's the goal right now. It's not even about the money. It's about saving that next child. You know, I was just blessed to have a family, but it's real tough. You know, I'm 26 years old, and I buried at least 20 friends growing up. I lost my first friend when I was in high school, and his own friends killed him over some weed and some money. So I seen it. You know, I was at a karaoke night about 3 or 4 years ago. I was singing karaoke. You know, I was having fun, and then, you know, next thing I know, I come outside, bullets flying past my head, and I watch a man get killed. You know, it's tough, and that's why people don't understand, like, we all are not thugs, but it is thugs on both sides. If you go to South Baltimore, you know, you'll see, you know, Caucasians that are thugs. They look harder than me, mouth full of goals, everything. I don't go down South Baltimore, you know, so, but I'm scared of South Baltimore, but it's just the hood. It's not a color thing, you know, it's just the hood is, yes, it is mostly black, but if you go to South Baltimore, it's a totally different world. But it's tough.
So when you think about, I mean, you have kind of an interesting perspective as an artist. What do you see your role? What do you see your role in terms of the community response?
Inspiring. You know, I can tell kids dreams come true because mine are coming true. You know, and I just like this. I still cry when I look at the times coming. You know, and because I went through a lot trying to get to this point. So now I can inspire other kids. Like, your dreams can come true. It don't have to be it can be anything. You don't have to be a rapper or play basketball, play football. You know, you can do whatever you want. Nobody can tell you can't. And and there's not a lot of people in my community that can say that aspect, but I can do that, and I still hung on the same corners as you did. Mm-hmm. But I changed my life completely. I cut friends off. I broke those ties, you know, to get to this point. I even changed the way I dress so I look like an artist, you know? I wore baggy jeans. I had a mouthful of
Andy
goals.
Warhol shirts now.
Yeah. But I had a mouthful of goals. My mother hated them. I would take them out when I came in the house. But I had a mouthful of goals. I had the braids. I had the dreads. I went through it all, trying to find myself. You know, I want these kids, like, you're going to make mistakes. You just got to find yourself. But a lot of kids their community won't push them to take that leap of faith to chase what they want. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So a lot of kids, I met a lot of talented people in the past couple of weeks, but it's sad to say a lot of those kids are going to sell themselves short. Mm-hmm. You know, they're going to give up early in life. There's no reason why you're 21 years old and you're not going to find yourself at 21. So a lot of these kids, what happens is they get caught in the street so young, that's all they know. And they scared to break away from that because not even just them, it's how the community will look at them. Because I got friends that look at me and talk about me the way I dress, but, you know, that's that peer pressure. Yeah. You know, I just say, like, oh, remember you was talking about me? Go to town and get that magazine. You know, and I just rub it in their face.
All right, last question, and then we're going to open it up. So if you guys haven't tweeted your questions, now's the time. What's next?
I'm still here. You know, like it's funny because I actually was planning to move to New York pretty soon, but with everything that's going on, I'm not going anymore. I'm just gonna stay here, and then I'm gonna build up the community, build up with all this attention that I have and the following. You know, a lot of people leave the city to get that following. You know, I was gonna leave and further my career and come back, but I think I skipped that step. I'm just stay here, and I'm just gonna help build other artists up. You know, I plan on doing my own foundation. I want to teach kids, inner city kids, photography. You know, I plan on doing a lot of free art shows. So anybody want me to do an art show at your gallery, I want to do an art show. It's like I just want to give back at this point because I've been blessed, you know, and I just want to bless other people.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Devin.